everyone, welcome to 9th Standard English class. Today we will discuss the second part of the third lesson, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. In this chapter, we are going to read more about Bismillah Khan. Ustad Bismillah Khan. Okay, he was a great Shehnai player. He was a Shehnai maestro. He is a legend, we can say, in the field of Indian music. Okay, this is the instrument called Shehnai, and he was a great Shehnai player. Okay, Shehnai maestro, we can say. So, in this lesson, we are going to read more about, we are going to learn more about Ustad Bismillah Khan. Okay, so take your textbook. So this is your textbook, and you can see many famous personalities here. All these people were very famous in playing different musical instruments. So you have to find out the names of these people and in which what musical instrument they are playing. That is also you have to find out. So listen carefully. Let's go to the lesson. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of musical instruments called pungi in the royal residence for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. So Emperor Aurangzeb, you might have heard the term Aurangzeb. He was the son of Shah Jahan, and in ancient India, the country was ruled by Mughal dynasty. All these are Mughal kings. So Aurangzeb banned means prohibited, stopped the playing of a musical instrument called pungi. Okay, so Aurangzeb banned the playing of the musical instrument called pungi. What is a pungi? So this is the picture of a pungi. Okay, this musical instrument is called pungi. You might have seen this with the snake charmers. Okay, playing this musical instrument. So he banned this because it has a shrill, unpleasant voice or sound. Shrill means what? Not soft, okay, not smooth. It had a very sharp sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemaker. So pungi is the generic name. Generic name means a name given to a class or group as a whole. So pungi is the general name for reeded noisemakers. Reeded means wind instruments like flute and all. Okay, flute, shehnai, clarinet, all these are reeded musical instruments or reeded noisemakers. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Okay, someone still believed then that maybe that musical instrument pungi will be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. So a barber, he came from the family of a professional musicians. Okay, he had access to the royal palace. He has permission to come to the palace. Decided to improve the sound quality, the tonal quality of pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi. So first he chose a natural hollow stem like flute, bamboo. Okay, he chose a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than pungi, and he made 7 holes on the body of that pipe. He made 7 holes on the hollow stem. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. So when he played the musical instrument, he has made closing and opening the holes, soft and melodious sound began to came. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. So he played the instrument before royalty. Royalty means before the king, and everyone in the court was impressed, very much impressed by the voice of that instrument. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. So it was different, totally different from pungi. So they decided to give it a new name. As the story goes, and the story says that since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a Nai, the instrument was named the Shehnai. So it was first played in the Shah's chamber. So Shah means the king, king's chamber, room. So the word Shah, and it was played by a Nai. Nai means a barber. Nai, barber. So it came the name, so there came the name Shehnai. Okay. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Okay, the sound of Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious means promising to bring good fortune. It is good. Hearing the sound of Shehnai, people still believe that it is a good omen or a good thing to hear the sound of Shehnai. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. So, since it is considered as good omen or it brings fortune and all, it was still played in temples and in the weddings of North India. Okay, it is still an important part in temples and North Indian weddings. In the past, the Shehnai was a part of Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal court. So, in the past, it was one of the musical instruments in Naubat. Naubat means a group of 9 musical instruments, and Shehnai was also one among them. So, it was played only in royal courts, in palaces, in before the kings and all. Okay. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. Now also it is using in temples and weddings only. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So Ustad Bismillah Khan brought this instrument into the stage of classical music. So he introduced Shehnai in classical music. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumron in Bihar. So, when he was 5 years old, he was used to perform Gilli Danda. It's a kind of performance in a pond near the ancient estate of Dumron in Bihar. Dumron is the name of the village where Ustad Bismillah Khan was born. Okay, he was born in Dumron in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaida, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kilogram, a prize given by the local Maharaja. So he used to go regularly to the nearby Bihariji temple where he sing Bhojpuri Chaida, where he sing songs in Bhojpuri language, and at the end of that performance he will get a big laddu weighing 1.25 kilogram as a prize. It was given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago when he was 5 years old. It was happening. And the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So, from that 5 years old boy, he travelled a lot to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna, at the age of 85. So he got Bharat Ratna at the age of 85 in 2001. Born on 21 March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. So Bismillah Khan was born in 21st March 1916. He was born in a well-known family of musicians in Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Baksh Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur king's court. So his grandfather was a great Shehnai player and he was playing Shehnai at Bhojpur king's court palace. His father Paigambar Baksh and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players, and his father and his paternal means the relatives on his father's side also were great Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. From the very early life itself, from the very childhood itself, he has a great liking for music. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Benares, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. So whenever he was taken to the maternal uncle's house, maternal uncles means relatives from the mother's side. Okay, whenever he goes there, he was fascinated, he was excited, very much impressed by the music of Shehnai, and he was watching how his uncles or his relatives are playing the Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Benares, where Baksh was employed to play the Shehnai. So after that, Bismillah was started accompanying, going with his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Benares, because Ali Baksh was employed to play Shehnai there. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. So whenever this Ali Baksh was playing the Shehnai, he would sit silently. Captivating means fascinated, very much listening, attentive. Okay, and he will sit there like hours listening to the playing of Shehnai. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. Then he started to learn playing Shehnai, and he will practice hours and hours throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangalamaya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite homes, where he could practice in solitude. So after years, when he was young, the Balaji temple and Mangalamaya temple and the banks of Ganga, all these places were his favorite places. Okay, apprentice means one who is an upcoming artist, okay, upcoming musician. He would practice. These were his favorite places, okay, for practicing and all. He will practice in these places for hours and hours in solitude. Okay, solitude means alone. He will practice alone for hours and hours in these places. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. And the flowing water of Ganga inspired him to find out or to experiment new ragas on the musical instrument Shehnai. And before that, everyone thought that it was impossible to introduce ragas or to play the Shehnai in different manner or something like that. Okay, so he was made it possible. He introduced many different ragas in playing Shehnai. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, so at the age of 14, Bismillah Khan accompanied. He was taken to the Allahabad Music Conference. So at the end of his recital, Ustad Faiz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, so after the end of his performance, Ustad Faiz Khan was a greatest singer, okay. He patted the boy's back and said, work hard, you shall make it. So go ahead, work hard, one day you will be very successful. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. So with the opening of All India Radio in 1938, it was a biggest break in his life. He became very famous after onwards 1938 onwards. And when India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. So on the occasion of India's independence, he got a chance to play Shehnai. He poured his heart out into dark Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. So on that occasion, on the occasion of India's independence ceremony, there was, he poured, he recited, he played, he performed Shehnai from the Red Fort and in front of a great audience including Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. So he travelled all over India and abroad also, and his first trip to abroad was to Afghanistan, and the king there gifted him many priceless rewards and all for his performance. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Gunjudi Shehnai. And not only the king in Afghanistan but also many other famous personalities, including the film director Vijay Bhatt, he named a film after the instrument called Gunjudi Shehnai. The film was a hit and one of Bismillah Khan's compositions, and he was the music director there, Bismillah Khan. He composed different songs in that film, and it was become great hit. Dil Ka Gilauna Hai Toot Gaya turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster. Chartbuster means record breaker. One of his compositions, it became very much received by the audience. It will become a great hit. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to, even though he could win a great success, he was a great success in film industry, but he didn't do much films, okay, much compositions, music in films. It was limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Gunjudi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivasa's Kannada venture Sanadi Appanna. Okay, he has done only two films, Vijay Bhatt's Gunjudi Shayanai, and in one Kannada movie, Sanadi Appanna. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. He said that he doesn't like the artificiality and glamour of film world, so he didn't do much films. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. And awards and recognition, many awards, recognitions came in a large quantity. He got many awards and recognitions, and he played in the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in USA, America. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. So all over the world, he began to perform all over the world. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. Tahar Mosque, Ustad Bismillah Khan, and auditorium in Iran was named after him, Ustad Bismillah Khan's name. They gave Ustad Bismillah Khan's name for that auditorium. So he was a world famous personality. National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. He got national awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Vibhushan. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, and the India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, he received in 2001. With the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness, and he said he was very happy and his eyes were shining. All I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. So on that occasion, when he got Bharat Ratna, he said that teach your children music, because it is the Hindustan's, India's richest tradition. And even the West means even the Western countries, people from Western countries, European countries, they are coming to India to learn our music. In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahib, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Benares and Dumron, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. And wherever he goes or wherever he travels, he always missed the places Dumron, Benares, and the river Ganga most. Okay, always he wanted to stay always in India, especially these places, Benares, Dumron, and the banks of Ganga. He likes it. He liked it very much. A student of his one of his students once told him, wanted him to head a Shahnai school in the USA. So invited him to be the head of a Shahnai school in America. And the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Benares by replicating the temples there. And the student told Bismillah Khan that he will replicate, he will make or imitate the temples and everything like Benares there. He will build everything like in Benares in America. But Khan Sahib asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. But Khan Sahib, Bismillah Khan asked him, can you take river Ganga there? Okay, so it is impossible. Later, he is remembered to have said, that is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan. So he always said that whenever he was in a foreign country, he always missed Hindustan. He always wanted to come to India. While in Mumbai, I think of only Benares and the holy Ganga. When he was in Mumbai, he always missed Benares and Ganga. And while in Benares, I miss the unique matta of Damron. So when he is in Benares, he missed his native place, Dumron in Bihar. So we can realize how much fond he was to his motherland India. Okay, he liked to live in India, especially in Benares and Dumron on the banks of Ganga. So he cannot just even think about leaving India. Okay, so he always preferred to live in India. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. So his life is an example for the rich cultural heritage of India. One that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. We cannot imagine how great he was. He was a devout Muslim. Devout Muslim means believing strongly in the Muslim religion. He was a Muslim, but he plays Shehnai every morning at Hindu temples, Kashi Vishwanath temple. So we can imagine how great he was. Okay, how great he is. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. So he was died. He passed away on 21st August 2006. He was given a state funeral and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. Okay, so I hope you understood the lesson. Okay, you learned more about Ustad Bismillah Khan. So once again, read the lesson. Okay, try to understand more about Ustad Bismillah Khan. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.